Hey there, welcome back to the porch. Pull up a chair because today we're going we're going to go there. We're going to talk about apologizing, and not the good kind, the kind you do when you actually really mess up. I'm talking about the other kind, the reflexive, sort of automatic, I'm sorry for breathing kind that so many of us, especially women, have been doing our entire lives. I used to apologize for even having opinions, for taking up space, for needing things, for being too much or not enough, depending upon the day and who was watching. And somewhere along the way, in this whole season of becoming, I started to notice it. And then I started to stop. So today, I'm sharing the things I have stopped apologizing for. And I'm going to be honest, some of this might ruffle feathers, and that's fine. I'll wait. So before I actually get into the list, I want to give a little context because I think it matters. For a lot of us, over apologizing is not a personality flaw. It's a survival skill that we learned really early. If you grew up in a house where keeping the peace meant shrinking yourself, then you learn to apologize before anyone even asks, I'm sorry for existing. If you were taught that your needs were an inconvenience, then you sort of learn to soften everything you said with, I'm sorry, but remember? And if you were a woman in a room where you weren't expected to have a voice, you learned that apologizing was armor. And I'm not here to make us feel bad about that. I'm here to say that we inherently learned it because we needed it. And some of us, we don't need it anymore. And it's okay to say, put it down. So here's some of the things that I stopped apologizing for. The first one is I used to treat changing my mind like it was a character flaw. Like if I said I wanted something and then decided I didn't, I had failed somehow. Now, changing your mind is called growth. It's new information. It's called you were 35 and now you're not, and the world looks different from here. No apology required. And so I'm going to give a personal example here. And I did a video on this, on something I changed my mind on and it was about video games. I gave my kids a really hard time growing up when they were playing video games. I thought they were a useless waste of time, a waste of space, only to find myself now at 68 with my own Nintendo and my own video games that I enjoy. They take away the anxiety, they give me things to do for a few hours, and I really enjoy it. And so over 30 years, I certainly learned, and I was allowed, and I did absolutely change my mind. And I even told my kids, not that I did a big formal, I apologize, I'm sorry, but I did tell them that I learned and that growth allowed me to change my mind. And I actually thought that was a pretty cool thing. Next thing is that I'm not going to explain my no. Saying no is a complete sentence, and I know that we've heard that before. We've put it on mugs, but actually living it is different. I don't owe anybody a paragraph about why I can't make it, why I'm not interested, or why I need a different thing. Just no, or that doesn't work for me, or done, full stop. The next thing is about resting. I used to justify rest. Like I had to take up my productivity before I was allowed to own rest. And who made that rule? Because I'd probably like to have a word with them. I sit on this porch and sometimes I do absolutely nothing. And it's beautiful. And I'm not sorry about it. The next thing is about taking up space in conversations. I used to qualify, or probably overqualify everything that I used to say. I might be wrong, but, or this is just my opinion, but you probably already know this. You know, I actually had something to say, but I just kept sort of putting this disclaimer in front of it, like it needed a warning label. And my perspective was valid, and so is yours. And so we can share things without the apology tour. The next thing probably stings a little bit, honestly, because growth sometimes means that you have to move in a direction that not everybody can follow. And I spent a long time sort of apologizing for that, shrinking back down so nobody felt left behind, playing small so nobody felt uncomfortable. And you cannot stay small enough to make everybody feel comfortable. It's just not possible. And the truth is, it's not your job. Also, I stopped apologizing for having standards, having them for myself and what I allow. I used to think that having standards sort of made me difficult. Now I think having no standards was sort of making me exhausted. Standards aren't drama. Standards are self-respect without offense around it. And I also sort of want to talk about some of the pushback that may come from this, because somebody actually may say, you know, Deborah, there's a difference between sort of healthy boundaries and just being rude. And the fact is that they're absolutely, yes, 100%. And I'm not out here being dismissive or cold or unkind in the name of not apologizing. You know, that's not what this is about. The goal is to not stop being gracious. The goal is to stop apologizing for our existence, our growth, our needs, and our no's. There is a real difference. Accountability is still necessary. Kindness is still necessary. What is not necessary is the reflective sorry that we throw out before we've even said the thing. So let me ask you this question, because I generally want to know, what is one thing that you stopped apologizing for? Or one thing that you're ready to stop apologizing for? Drop it in the comments, because I think the comment section is about to be what I hope it's about to be, is a whole community meeting where we can discuss. And I am totally here for it. And if this one hit with you, please share it with somebody who needed to hear it, because I promise you they exist. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Deborah, and this porch is where we sort of talk about real stuff. Subscribe, come back, bring your tea, bring your drink, and I'll see you next time. Keep becoming.